Okay, so good morning, guys. So thank you for coming. So let me share you my. Actually, this is also the same with the call this one. Also the same with the. Ay wait, can you see the? Parang hindi. Nakikita niyo ba yung screen ko, guys? No.
Yes, sir.
Can you see this? This is the screen. Okay, the rules and regulations of track and
No,
field.
sir.
I know, no.
No, sir.
Okay, wait. Mukhang may hindi ako napindot dito. Sandali lang. Sorry. Okay, so here we go. So can you see now? I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay
so
na po.
again, good morning. Thank you for joining
Yes, sir.
um, our simple discussion for today for you to able to understand more what is our module 4. Anyway, as we go through with our module 1, 2, 3, these are the things to remember. So for today, I'll just give you clarification and things to remember, especially next meeting is your midterm exam. Okay, so let's start. So we have here wait, rules and regulations of track events. Okay, running events overview. Sprint. Sprints are short distance running competitions usually held for distance of 100, 200, as well as 400. Sometimes if we call meters, we call dash, 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, and sometimes we call it as 400-meter dash. We have 400-meter dash. As we go by with the sprint, if we're talking about sprint, we're talking about how fast can you run, because athletes concentrate on reaching the destination with their maximum speed. Meaning, in short, make it sure that you're able to um, um, you're able to do your goal to go to the finish line as fast as you can. That's why it is sprint. This is the running event which you are able to show your skills on how fast can you run. So usually this is one of the most talented gift na mga snatcher. Sprinting. This is the well-gifted skill na meron sila so far. So if we're talking about sprint again, guys, we're talking about the how fast can you run. So the fastest way of running is sprints. So there are three sprint types. We have um, 100-meter dash or 100-meter run. We have 200-meter run as well as 400-meter run. If we're talking about those meters, especially in the track, um, that is also considered a 100-meter run. That is the one first straightway, or we have the second straightway, or the first bend or second bend. Next, if we're talking about middle and long distance running, these are races usually which is 800 and 1500 meters for middle distance events. For talking about 800 meters, it's still in the oval, as long as you can do that in terms of 2 rounds. So 2 rounds siya kapag 800. So it will be more understood as long as we have our track oval image there. Then if we're talking about long distance, we have here 5,000-meter dash as well as 10,000 meters. So those are the in terms of middle and long distance. So if we're talking about sprint, short distance, as if we have a longer distance, we have middle as well as long distance. So athletes participating in these races are not only concentrated on running faster, but also on how to maintain a high constant speed. Again, constant speed, such as running race are delegate running race are designed to test the athlete's strength and endurance, because again, in terms of short distance, they show their call this all effort, their fastest effort in terms of performing the sprint, while in terms of middle as well as long distance, they have to think a strategy on how are they going to maintain their endurance. If you're talking about endurance, how long can you perform your run? Pag sinabing running endurance. That's why if you can observe for the for those who are going to have a longer distance like marathon, ganyan, or they don't run as fast as they can. They maintain their endurance, their cardiovascular. So, kailangan nila maintain because if they will stop, ayun na, that will be the main problem. Okay? So in terms of longer distance, again, they need to strengthen their terms of endurance or cardiovascular endurance. Next. Okay, we have here starting blocks. False start, starting line, finish line, and break line. If we're talking about starting block, can you remember our module 3? The images in terms of the starting block wherein you're going to put your foot or feet on the starting block for you. That will be call this a helping um, gadget or how do you call this apparatus for the sprinters to run with their pace or with their how do you call this with their momentum running. So if you're talking about starting block, yun. So usually, wait, okay, you see that track oval, guys. So usually if this is your starting, dito yung starting kanya. For example, by the way, if we're doing 100, this is 100 meters. So that is 100 meters. This is also 100 meters. This is 100 meters. And this is also 100 meters. So meaning, if you will start here in, for example, your run is one lap or 400 meters run, as you can see here, this will be your starting line. Okay, so starting line as well as known as the finish line because 100, 200, 300, and then 400. So that is 400-meter run. So you will start here. But as you can see, there are different lanes. Inner lane, first lane, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, eight lanes or more. It will depend on the structure of the oval. But because of some ovals like sa atin dito sa Baguio, limited lang. I think I'm not sure of how many lanes, less than 10 I think yung sa atin. Pero some ovals, especially for those who are being used in Olympics, I think there are more than 10 lanes. So that's it. So as you can see here, there are, for example, first lane, dito siya. Second lane, dito siya. Yan. You can see the white lines here. And then third lane, dito siya. Yung white line na to. Fourth lane, fifth, sixth, seven, and eight. Ito yung pang 8. Yan siya. So because the inner lane is the measurement of the 400 meters. One lap or call this 400 meters. While here, from this starting point, going to the edge, hanggang dyan, dire-diretso yan, dire-diretso dito, hanggang sa finish line, hanggang here, as long as you reach here, that is 400 meters. That's why staggered. Hindi siya pwedeng pare-parehas dito. Kasi nga, why? The inner lane has the advantage while the outer lanes for 2, 3, 4, 5 are more longer. So as easy as that, guys. So of course, to be able to have the same 400-meter distance, there should be a staggered line here. So yun guys. So again, so this is the starting line for 400 kasi 100, 200, 300, 400. Next, so as you can see here, this is known as the first bend or first curve. First curve. Next, we know this as the first straightway. First straightway. This is the very first straightway na madadaanan. And then we have next, we have the second bend or second curve. And then last, we have the second straightway and then you will reach the finish line. So ganun yun, especially pag 400. But for a sprint, like for example, sprint kahit kanina, we have 100 meters. So in terms of Pag dito ka mag-start, ito yung starting line ng 100 meters. This is the finish line, this is the starting line. So dito yung starting line. So usually the runners are here in this space, and then on your mark, pag sinabing on your mark, is start going to your starting line, and then on your mark, and then you do the different types of start, di ba? Still remember the crouch or the bunch, yung mga pinakita kanina doon sa video, yung pinanood nyo kanina, yung binigay kong link doon sa canvas. So yun. So you can do any type of start na gusto nyo. And then on your mark, set. As long as sabing set, your knee should be raising up already. Knee na raising up, hindi na siya touching the floor. And then set, and then bang! Pag sinabing ka na yung gun, starting gun, once you heard the starting gun, which is tumunog na, start running. So pwede rin sabayan yung starting gun. Bang! Pero mahirap yun, kaya mas okay na, it's more better na you wait for the starting gun before you run. And never run pag hindi pa pumuputok yung starting gun. What will happen? It will be a false start, which is which is the false start. Number 2. Sometimes if you can hear in terms of the false start, sometimes you heard 2 gunshots, meaning it's a false start. Why? Because some runners were able to yun nga, nagkamali sila ng start, meaning nauna sila, hindi sila sumabay sa starting gun, or hindi nila hinintay, kumbaga excited. So what will happen, especially for those who are athletes who are joining in Olympics? So yun na, goodbye. Once you have a false start, you're already considered disqualified. Ganun lang yon. So ingat-ingat. So walang testing sa running. So once you commit a false start, you're already call this disqualified. That's why if you're joining an Olympics, maghintay ka na naman ng ilang taon. It takes years before you can join again. So very crucial ang nangyayaring false start. At casually, may nangyayari talaga in terms of this. Next, so we're done with the starting block. We also have the false start, and we have the starting line. For the starting line, let's go back again with our, if this is 100-meter dash or 100-meter run, your starting line is here. Second straightaway. You will start on the second straightaway, and then you will run 100-meter. So finish line dito. How about if it is 200 meters sprint? Saan ka mag-start? Where is your starting line? Any idea? So, bawas ka lang. So, ganito lang technique, guys. So, 100. Patras ka ngayon. Clockwise ang galaw niya. So, 100, 200. So, dito ang iyong starting line. This will be your starting line, guys. For the 200, dito ang starting line nyo. So, there, 100, 200, finish line. Gets? So, ganun din. So, staggered din yan. Yung white line na yan, staggered din yan. Next, if we have, call this, if your run is 100, 200, 400, syempre, pag 400, dito ka. Starting mo dito, 100, 200, 300, 400. Or first bend, then followed by the first straightaway, because it's the first straightaway, and the second bend, as well as the second straightaway until you reach the finish line. Your main goal is to reach the finish line. Anyway, guys, you have this, you can zoom this one, ikon nyo lang, i-download nyo doon sa ating canvas, na ibigay ko naman doon. So you can just zoom it so that you can be able to read this. Kasi pati ako hindi ko rin mabasa. Okay, so let's proceed. So wait. So after that, we have the starting line. So it depends on the starting line. You move back. For 800, you count 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 800. It's the same. Starting line and starting line. So next, we have here break line. Paano kaya itong break line? Okay, let's proceed. For the break line, you can see it here. This is the green line. If you can see this green line, this is known as the break line. Especially in events of 800-meter run. Try to imagine, guys, inner lane ka, di ba? Inner lane ka. 100, 200, 300, 400. That's already first round. On the second round, 500, 600, 700, 800. Kompleto yung 800-meter run. While for those who are in the second lane, third, fourth, fifth, and so on, outer lanes, pag nag-adjust sila dito, okay pa. So 100, 200, hanggang ma-reach sila dito. But, take note, for the second round of the, or second lap nila, there are certain adjustment. So how to do that? For example, pagdating nila dito, o yung mga second lane, third lane, fourth lane, fifth lane, especially the third lane, when he or she reaches this one, the green line or known as the brake line, especially for those on the second lap, pwede na siyang mag-transfer sa, dito guys, sa first lane. Yan. Pwede siya mag-transfer. That's why that's the term brake line. You can already transfer here in the first lane. Why? Because if you're not going to transfer, it will be more longer kasi nga nasa labas ka. Eh already first round lang yung 400 yung with the staggered line. While on the second round, mag-a-adjust na yun. That's why you already have the chance to transfer on the inner line or inner lane. So yun. So saka na, hanggang makompleto mo yung 800-meter run as well as yung 1,500, ganun din. As long as you have your second round already, you can already go to the brake line. Kaya tinawag na brake line yan. But for the first round, you go with your respective lanes muna. Okay? So as easy as that. Next. So we're done with starting block. False start. Kung nagkamali, sumablay. Sorry. Ganun na lang. Starting line. It depends on the run. Whether 100, 200. So nagbabago-bago ang starting line. Lagi yon. Hindi siya on the same one place. Because of our finish line is always will be always at the same place. Hindi siya pwedeng ilipat. Pero yung starting line, you can change it depending on the meters that you're going to run. Okay? Next, let's proceed. How to start each event. Before the tournament starts, players' positions, the number of hits, and number of rounds are decided by the organizing committee. In sprint, athletes are in sprinting. For those who will run in 100, 200, as well as 400, crouch position, as in naka-upo. Crouching siya, ganon, crouching. While for those who are doing longer distance, like middle as well as long distance, they are doing the standing position. So standing yung style nila. Like for example, like yung marathon, di ba? Like yung mga fun run natin. For those who are doing the fun run, di ba? Hindi naman nakaupo. Ready na, as in magkakatabi na lahat sila. So ganun din. So in crouch position, you will do your respective starts. So you can choose the bunch, elongated, ganyan, medium start, mga ganyan. So you have those starts. And then after that, of course, for in terms of longer or standing position, here no starting blocks are used. They take respective positions in the lane before the starting line. When they hear on your mark, pag sabi on your mark, bang! Pasasabugin na yung starting gun. While in sprint, on your mark, you go, lalapit ka doon sa kanto. Usually, from your on your mark, that is 3 meters away from the starting line. So from the starting line, you go nearer to the starting line, on your mark, and then position, whether what type of start do you want to do, and then on the mark, set. Once you set, itataas mo yung buttocks mo, and then your knee should be not touching the floor already. Kasi on your mark, position ka doon, your knees are touching the floor. While on set, pag sabing set, the buttocks will raise, and then your knee will also raise, and then run as long as you can hear the starting gun. Next, during sprint races, the set position is taken on the next call, firmly placing feet on the starting block and taking crouch position. Yun nga yung pinagsasabi ko kanina na always, especially in sprint, sabi nga nila, is the fastest. That's why you have a starting block. The longer racers, there is no set. Why? Because on your march, meaning ready na yon. On your march, that's a set. and then call, and then bang, yun, pasabugin na yung starting gun. For the 800-meter race, athletes starts from staggered starting point. For the 15-meter race, athletes make a bunch start in standing position. Ayun. So that's it. How typical race proceed? Of course, if your typical race proceed, the runners occupy the respective position, whether you are. Then it is being randomized. You cannot choose whether you want to go to the first lane or the inner lane or the outer lane. They run in the respective lanes along the race track. So kung saan man sila na-designate with the respective lanes, they will uh, just go with that designated lane. Especially if it is a 400-meter run, steady ka lang doon sa lane mo. So that's it. The race finishes when the athlete's torso crosses the vertical plane of the finish line. Torso includes from the base of the neck, dito sa neck. So tanggalin mo yung head, putulin niyo yung ulo, and then putulin niyo yung sa bewang. That is torso. Yung naiwan, yung katawan dito. So again, for you to have make it sure that your torso will pass through with the finish line. Kasi pag umpisa pa lang, alanganin. Dapat buong torso. Sir, hindi ba pwede yung paa lang? O di ba, you're running as fast as you can. And then biglang, mas nauna yung paa mo sa finish line. Pwede ba yon? No, kasi hindi siya torso. Because the basis of, in terms of winning, the finish line is the torso. So, paano yun? Kunwari, si Blessy, ayan, no? Ganda ng kan, nagbilis niyang tumakbo. Pero gifted siya, kunwari, gifted. Sobrang bilis niya. Dalawa sila ni Janela. So, nagre-race sila. Parehas sila ng kan, ha? Parehas sila ng speed. Parehas sila ng position. First lane and second lane, sabihin na natin. So, they have the same. Andito si Blessy, nandito si Janela, then proceed, sabay-sabay-sabay. Hanggang pag sa finish line, naging ganyan. So, what will be the advantage? For example, si Blessy is very blessed. Yung kanyang torso napaka-advanced. So, ayan. Nagtatago na si Blessy. So, ayan, ibig ko sabihin, for example, the chest is more, more closer than yan. Yun. Tapos biglang, ayun, di mas naunang. So, sino mas blessed doon? Parang, in terms of the finish line. Pero, again, take note, make it sure that the whole torso should be passing through with the finish line. Ganun lang naman yun. So, hindi pwedeng mauna yung kamay. For example, you're running and then you're doing like that. Ganun ka. No, it's not that. So, again, it's not the hand, it's not the head, it's the whole torso. So, I hope that is clear to you guys. Okay? Hindi tulad ko, yung mga ibang teacher na kasabay ko, tapos nauna yung chan ko kasi malaki yung chan ko. Pag nauna yung chan ko, malaki. Yun, patay. Hindi ako pwede ka. So, again, kailangan it pass through. Ganun lang yun, guys. So, walang. So, that's it. How to win an event in running. So, let's go with letter E kaagad. That's why it is emphasized here. Naka-bold siya. The one who reaches the finish line first is the final, is the winner. Ayan. So, meaning, ganun lang. But if we go through with letter A and letter B, which is, alam nyo na rin to, nabasa nyo na to in our modules, each race is divided into various rounds. Take note of the word, rounds. And each rounds may be held in many heats, and accommodated all athletes. Then next, we have the contestants' athletes records the past achievement and they are considered while dividing athletes among heats. Pag sinabi natin ganun, balik tayo dito guys. Or for example, pag sinabing rounds kasi, especially if you have 16 runners. And then, for example, in this type of oval, 8 lang. So, hindi kasya. Hindi naman pwedeng dalawang tao sa isang kwan lang. So, what happened there? Okay, so, first line. Then, after the first round, get ready yung first 8 runners. Yung first 8 runners, they will run on in terms of this running of 400. And then, the next runners, magpo-position na rin sila dito para sila yung next round. Yun yung tawag na hit on rounds. Yun yung natawag doon sa ating this A and B. While we have here, Half athletes might be randomly placed. Randomly placed in the first round. Athletes who have advanced by place and time are recorded. These records are considered while the seeding from the word seeding them in hearts in subsequent rounds. Usually 2 or 3 top performers from each participation in a subsequent. So ganito yan guys. Especially kapag alam na ng mga committee na siya yung pinakamabilis, usually nandito siya sa 4th and 5th, mga sa middle, 4th and 5th. Then yung medyo something well gifted in terms of running, nasa closer na sila dito, 3rd and 6th. And then pag medyo may problema, sa first lane at saka sa 8th lane, doon sila pupunta. So ganun nila ginagawa. In terms of it, if you're talking about, I call this, in terms of considering the seeding, ito, the word seedings, them in the hits in subsequent rounds. So yun yung gusto nang sabihin guys. Next, running rules. The runner should abide the following rules in order to complete the race. Sprint. Sprinters should run in designated lanes and cannot cross lanes throughout the race. So kapag sprinter, 100, 200, or 400, they cannot go in on the inner lane or the upper lane, on the outer lane. Kasi pag pumunta sa inner lane, advantage. Pag pumunta sa outer lane, disadvantage kasi mas lalong hindi na magiging 400-meter run yun. So you go with your respective lanes. In races with bunch starts, athletes can break line inside in 800-meter race, 2 laps. Then they should start from staggered position and can break inside after the first bend. So pagkatapos ng first bend, pwede na sila doon. Yung nakita nyo yung pinakita ko kanina doon na yung green line, which is the brake line. Pag na-reach na nila yung brake line, they can already go with the inner lanes. In longer races like 1,500, 5,000 meters, as well as the 10,000 meter, athletes can break inside after the start. So tapusin na yung start and then pwede na kaagad kasi ganun talaga yon. So kailangan ma-maintain nila yung ganitong run, especially they need to improve their endurance in order to perform the 1,500 or the 10,000 meter run. So sprinters should not step on the white line that mark their lanes throughout the lane. So meaning kung ano yung lane mo, you're not able to step the line, left or right, as much possible you stay on inside your lane. Ganun lang naman yun guys. And then sensors are placed in the starting line pistol and at the box. In case of the false start, the athlete is disqualified. Again, false start, the athlete is disqualified. Kaya sabi ko kanina, especially in terms of joining the Olympic Games, ayun, nagka-problema. So before giving the set command or before firing the starter gun, athletes cannot touch on the other side of the starting line with their hands or feet. So talagang bawal yun. And then as well, we also have athletes should not obstruct other athletes during the race. So hindi mo pwedeng harangan para maging smart. Pupunta doon sa kabila, i-distract mo yung momentum ng isang runner. So you cannot do that. It will be also uh, way for you to be disqualified. If athlete is obstructed, the referee may order the race to be held again, or he may ask the athlete to take part in the next round. So here, take note, we have athletes may leave the track voluntarily before the race ends, but they cannot come back to the track, otherwise disqualified. So once na napagod ka na, nagpahinga ka na, sa pagod ka na, pwede kang pumunta, pero you cannot go back anymore, meaning considered disqualified na yan. So, that's it. It goes with our track and track events. So, do you have any questions? Guys, do you have any questions?
None, sir.
Okay, nanalo ba si Blessy?
Sir.
Okay guys, anyway, I will be giving you more instruction later. So I will be posting again this para at least pwede nyo i-review kung sakali. Or if you have any more clarification, you just message sa group chat natin guys sa group chat. Don't message me kasi nga the account that I'm using here is only for classes. Mas lalong wag niyo ako i-message sa main account ko kasi talagang hindi ako namamansin doon, lalo na kapag hindi ko friends. Okay? So we're don't worry, I will be going with this account para at least namomonitor namomonitor ko kayo. So ayun guys, so if you have no questions, again, you just let me know kung meron kayong clarification with your activity. And then your exam is pina-finalize ko na siya ngayon. So it will be um, according to the dean 40 points, multiple choice, and then yun, 40 points. 40 points multiple choice, and kasi nga, di ba, 60-40 exam, so 40 points. So as much possible guys, make it sure you submit your requirements. I hope sinubmit nyo guys, no? Kasi once na you don't submit it, patay tayo dyan. So pag wala kayo sinubmit, wala ko i-record. So please submit guys, submit natin, okay? So yun, so again, sa ilan na iwan dito, 18. Last meeting was 14. So thank you,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. So thank you, thank you. So if you have no questions, we will continue our more instructions sa ating group chat. So thank you for coming guys. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you din. Thank you, thank you. Sige, yes. Thank you, thank you. Nabali pa post ko to tapos para makita ng mga kasama nyo. Okay, thank you guys. Stop recording.